Injured Advanced Designs, the world leader in powerlifting apparel, presents the Rage X. The Rage X is helping powerlifters sweep the earth with massive bench presses. Extra reinforced front shoulder seams add support to the radical, thicker, extra reinforced neck. Absolutely guaranteed you will bench more with the Rage X than any other bench press shirt on the market today. Proven on 1,000-pound bench presses. Get yours today. Check us out on the web at www.internet.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Big Evil's Lair. It's Big Evil Jamie Harris himself. With us this month, we have powerlifting superwoman Lair Phelps Sweatt. At 165 and 181 collectively, Lair has put together a 770 squat, 525 bench, and a 560 deadlift, and also a world record total 181 at 1770. Truly awesome lifting. Lair, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're very excited to have you on the show. Why don't we start out with, and I'm sure all the powerlifting world would like to know, a little bit about Lair Phelps Sweatt. Where are you from? Where do you live right now, Lair?
I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and that's where I live now.
Now, without in fear of being smacked in the face about being disrespectful, asking a woman how old they are, how old are you now?
I'm 30 now.
Okay, still a youngster.
Yeah.
What are you doing right now for a living?
Personal training. My husband and I own a personal training gym in Cincinnati. So right now I'm just personal training full time. The gym that we own is called Sweatt Personal Training. Our website is www.sweatshop.com.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the northern Cincinnati area, and we cater to just about everyone. A lot of my clients are, people just wanting to get in shape, but we do have a good powerlifting team, a growing team.
Mm-hmm.
We train a lot of different athletes, tennis players, lacrosse, just about everything, volleyball, pretty much everything. We have strongman competitors.
Oh, wow.
You name it. So, yeah, but, right now, like I said, our powerlifting team is growing, and we, have everything you need for powerlifting, which makes it nice for my training because I have just about everything there that I need.
Okay. Now, everyone knows you train at Westside or train, Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me about your relationship with Louis Simmons and Westside.
Well, I met Louis at my third meet ever, which was the WPO semifinals back in 2005.
Okay.
That's when I broke my first world record, and but actually I didn't start training at Westside then. I was training at a gym in Detroit called Total Flex, and our powerlifting team was called Penitentiary Powerlifting. So I got my start there. That's I couldn't be any luckier that I kind of fell into the hands of this group of lifters when I did, because they helped me tremendously. People like Fabian Wamskans and Charlie Maxwell, Paul Urchick, they all, helped me to get to progress as quickly as I did. So that 2005 WPO semifinals, that's when I broke the first squat record, and then after that I started training with Jason Fry. We would meet in Findlay. He lived in Findlay, Ohio, so we would meet there and train. And he asked if I wanted to come to Westside to visit one day.
Mm-hmm.
So I went on a Sunday morning to train with the bench crew with George Halbert.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I had a great time. I think George got me. I had just benched 352 at the WPO semifinals, and George, I think the first day I was there, had me bench 405. Took me like probably 7 tries, but
right.
I don't know, he just saw something in me, and he really believed I could do it. And, after several tries, I benched, 405 in the gym. So I kept coming back, I loved it there. And Louis one day asked, if I would join the team basically,
right.
and represent Westside. So that was in, I guess by that time it was early 2006.
Now let's get into the nuts and bolts of, your training. Pretty much what you do to put yourself at the level where you're at right now as a world champion. Let's talk about your squat first.
For my squats, as most people know, the Westside method, we break it up into the dynamic day and the max effort day. So I usually, on my dynamic day, I do based on percentages, but it's always a box squat, 8 to 12 doubles, with short rest periods. 10 singles. I move over to the deadlift, 10 singles with, doubled mini bands. Everything's just really fast on dynamic effort day. On my max effort day, it's just something different every week, whether it's, some sort of, heavy box squat or a heavy deadlift, a good morning, anything, deadlift and squat, they work so well together. So, I don't always squat heavy, I don't always deadlift heavy, but it's always something that's going to build my squat or deadlift on my max effort day.
Right.
So, so that's, my
basically
squat
nuts and
training
bolts,
is pretty basic, but like the accessory work is where what really builds my squat. I do a lot of reverse hypers, a lot of good glute ham raises, stiff-legged deadlifts, even like little things that, like ankle weight leg curls. Yeah, definitely. It's all the little things,
right.
that are building up my squat. But I do practice. A lot of people know is for me, my form is really good on my squat, so I have to practice that. I do, I do practice that a lot, because that's what has helped me. I'm not a back squatter. I squat with my hips and my butt. So, practicing my form is huge for the squat. So,
tell me about some of the assistance work that you do, some of the numbers that you're handling on some of your assistance work. I'm sure a lot of people like to know about that.
Let's see. Well,
like your good mornings and reverse.
Yeah, I do a lot of seated good mornings. With a safety squat bar. I usually keep my reps. I don't do like a max single or anything, but I'll keep my reps around 5.
Just some of the numbers. With reps and stuff. Not not your max.
Yeah, like
stuff.
200 pounds. On seated good mornings for sets of 8. Reverse hypers. I do a light day and a heavy day. On my heavy days on reverse hypers, I'll use up to almost 400 pounds on the reverse hyper machine for sets of 10. I do, what at Westside, we call them dimmels, which are, like a Romanian deadlift, but I've used up to 365 for sets of 10.
Do you feel that you could look at one of your assistance exercises and say, okay, I could do, this on my good mornings or this on my reverse hyper or this, and have an idea where your max is at on your squat?
I know where my numbers should be, but like I base it more off of certain exercises, like main exercises that I do. Like I have testers, basically, is what I call it, on all 3 of the different lifts.
What would be some for your squat?
For my squat, usually if I like a box squat, if I do, I usually go back through my logs and I look back to, let's say, like, straight bar with 3 chains per side. I better be able to do, maybe with my suit bottoms on, I better be able to do, 550 to 600, with 3 chains on each side, for a box squat. For deadlift, my ultra wide sumo is usually my tester, and my best is, I don't usually get in my suit very much in training, so I just wear my brief, ultra wide sumo, and I know that if I'm over 500, that my deadlift is, my PR is 510. So if I hit a PR, then I know I'm good.
Where you need to be. Okay. And let's talk about like how you train your bench press. And again, like you said, it's sort of like the Westside template, but I'm sure there's special things you add to it that that's your own.
Right. Well, my dynamic effort day on bench press is pretty similar every week. I do the 9 sets of 3 with mini bands and like maybe 135. Sometimes I'll change that up. Change up the bars, like use a football bar or something else. But my speed day is pretty similar. I change up the assistance work. I do a lot of upper back and dumbbell exercises. But on my max effort day, I do a lot of my training in the off season raw, and even in the beginning part of training for a meet. Most of my exercises, it's different every week. I might do straight bar with chains. I might do camber bar with a one board, reverse band, floor press. I can go through probably 20 different exercises at least, before I come around to it again. So, but as I get closer to a meet, about 7 weeks out, I start to wear my bench shirt in training, and so there's usually I kind of figured out exactly like what has worked for me, and for me, I have this 4-week series of a couple weeks of a 2-board with heavy band tension. Then I take a week out of the shirt, and then a couple weeks of reverse bands with hanging chains. And I kind of wave that, and I always know that if I PR on those exercises, that it's almost a given. I know exactly what I'll bench at the meet. So,
let's talk about your assistance work. Some of the things you like to do with your bench. Just like some of the exercises that you like to do.
Well, I started focusing a lot on my lats and upper back and my triceps for the bench press, and that seemed to help a lot. So I really only do about every week I do like one dumbbell exercise for chest. So whether it be incline, flat, or decline, and then I move into working on my back. This is on my dynamic upper day. I like to do a lot of pull-ups. One-arm dumbbell rows, lat pull-downs, low rows, and I like to do a ton of rear delt work. So,
right, very important.
It's so important, for shoulder rehab and prehab, and just the pressing movement. So I do a lot of rear delt work, and then I have on my max effort day I do all triceps. So, and I try to do a lot of triceps, heavy stuff, with dumbbells, close grip dumbbell press, the incline tape presses, or the rock back extensions. Just tons and tons of extensions. Will really bring your bench up, because it works, the muscles like around the
elbows, right,
which are really important for the lockout.
You are a sumo puller, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I started conventional. I'm not even really sure how or why I got switched over. I know it's because of my leverages, and I'm definitely built to sumo deadlift. But when I was bodybuilding, I did every week I would just do reps on the deadlift, and it was always conventional, always raw. And I would just do sets of 8, and I would go as heavy as I could, like a top set of 8, So I did a local, like, non-sanctioned powerlifting meet. It was just a push-pull meet, and I went there. I had never really maxed out. I just did reps and training, so I was just doing this for fun. But I pulled, I weighed in at 153 and pulled 435, and shorts and a t-shirt. And
wow.
I was like, I loved it. I was totally hooked.
Yeah, that's something else.
Yeah. So when I trained for my first meet, I did pull conventional in the meet, but right after the meet, some of my training partners were, working with me on sumo, because they knew that I was, built to sumo, but I'm trying to bring my conventional back up, to try and get it, close to where my sumo is. So.
Well, tell me about how you deadlift, because I know a lot of deadlifters, they talk about, and I know that Ed Cohn used to mention that they would train conventional, and then as the meet grew closer, they would go back to sumo for the meet.
Yeah, a lot of people do that now. We do that at Westside. If I pull sumo now, I'm trying to lean more towards pulling mostly conventional in training. We put the weight on, different levels of mats, or, pin pulls or whatever. I'm trying to do everything conventional and mostly raw. And, so now basically the only times in training that I pull sumo is if I'm doing the ultra wide sumos, where I take my foot stance out, as far as I can. And then if I do reverse bands, that's another one of my testing exercises for deadlift is when I do reverse green bands, and that's the only time I'll really get in my suit or anything, because I'm using my normal competition stance, so that's kind of a tester for me. I'll get into my suit simple sumo with that exercise. But other than that, I've been trying to do everything conventional raw in training, and it's working for, for pretty much everyone. So it's pretty much, I mean, a ton of reverse hypers, 45-degree back raises with weight, like maybe using a safety squat bar, on your neck. You're doing 45-degree back extensions, sled dragging, heavy sled dragging. And a ton of abs. That's one thing that I did neglect for a little while, was doing abs.
Really? As a bodybuilder, you did?
I know. Even when I used to run,
on you.
when I used to be a runner, I did abs every single day. I never stopped doing abs, but then I started powerlifting and I slacked on them a little bit. But I'm back to doing it, and I'm hoping that. I think abs are a big part of the deadlift, so I'm hoping that that's going to translate over for me.